David Smith here with another Flipped Classroom math video. A few tips before we get started. Remember, you can always pause the video to make extra notes or write down questions for when we meet in class. Also, remember to pause the video when I provide an example. Work that problem, then start the video up again and see how well you did. You can also turn on the captions so you can see my words written below on the screen. You can also speed up or slow down the video if you wish. Remember to think hard, follow along, and bring your best brain to the next time we have class. Today's topic, the quadratic formula. This technique works for any quadratic equation. If you need to find the solutions, this can be a go-to method for that. Don't forget how to factor and how to complete the square, because on my test you will still need to know how to do those methods. But this one will work for problems that don't fall easily to those techniques. So let's take a look. For any quadratic equation that's in this form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Remember, your a, b, and c, those are your constants. You can take those letters and plug them into this, which is the quadratic formula, to solve for x. So it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. Okay, let's do one and see how that works. Here's a fairly straightforward quadratic. What I like to do is write my letters. So a is 1, b is negative 2, and c is also negative 2. If you look at this, you're going to find that it's pretty hard to factor. In fact, it's not possible to factor it. So let's use the quadratic formula. So my first step should be a plug-in step. Avoid doing the math as you go. Make sure you get these numbers plugged into the formula in the correct way. Otherwise, your answer won't be correct. So I have negative b. b is negative 2. So I'm going to do it like this. I'm doing a full plug-in. I left the negative 2 and I pulled the negative from the formula. Plus or minus, draw your big square root. Now it's b squared, negative 2 squared, minus 4 times 1 times another negative 2. All over 2a, and a is 1. Okay, so let's do the calculations. Negative 2 is just 2, plus minus my square root. Negative 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times 2 times negative 2 is minus negative 8, so that means it's plus 8 over 2. I'm going to jump over here, save space on my board. I have 2 plus or minus root 12 over 2. Okay, so we need to take a look at what root 12 is. Remember simplifying your radicals. Root 12 is the same as root 3 times 4. Let's just write it out. X equals 2 plus minus root 3 times 4 over 2. In this root, the 4 can come out as a 2. So I have 2 plus minus 2 root 3 over 2. Now these are what I call sort of ugly answers. You usually, when you do the quadratic equation, you don't get nice answers like x is 3 and negative 7. You just don't get those. A lot of times you have roots in your answers. Leave the roots in there, okay? So now I can do some canceling. I've got 2's everywhere. So this becomes 1 plus minus root 3. Okay, let's do a second problem. I'm going to go ahead and step you through this one, but if you're feeling adventurous and bold, pause the video now, plug in your a, b, and your c into the quadratic formula, and see if you can get there. Okay, so let's do that first plug-in step. X equals minus b plus minus my big square root, b squared, that's just 3 squared, minus 4 times 2 times negative 4, all over 2 times 2. Okay, let me just inspect, make sure I did my plug-in step right. Negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is negative 4 over 2a. Okay, great, I'm good. Check that step. If you make a mistake there, the rest of your work won't work. Okay, so now I have minus 3 plus minus the square root of 9, that's 3 squared, minus 4 times 2 times negative 4. So this is going to end up being plus 32. All over 4. One more step. Minus 3 plus minus root 41 over 4. That's our answer. A couple things to say. First off, we have two solutions to this quadratic equation. Plus minus means I have negative 3 plus root 41 over 4 and negative 3 minus root 41 over 4. Second thing, 41 is prime. We can't factor anything and take it out of the root, so just leave it like that. So again, an ugly answer. You've kind of got to learn to be satisfied with these kinds of answers when you're doing these problems. Okay, here's another one. If you're feeling adventurous, pause the video now and try to solve this quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. Okay, let's do it. So here's my A, my B, and my C. Let's do our plug-in step. X equals negative B, which is 5, plus minus the root of 5 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 1, all over 2 times 3. Double check, minus B, B squared, 4 times A times C over 2 times A. I'm good. Continue. Minus B, minus 5, plus minus big root. This is going to be 25, that's 5 squared. Minus 4 times 3 is 12, times negative 1 is negative 12, so we have two negatives, so that's going to be plus 12, all over 6. One more step. Minus 5 plus minus 25 plus 12, 37, all over 6. This one is also finished with an ugly answer. If you still have questions, write them down now and bring them to our next class. You can also watch the video again and perfect your notes. Finally, if you enjoyed watching my video, please click the like button down below. And if you'd like to help me grow my YouTube channel, please click subscribe.